She realizes you lost interest. These are the 10 signs you'll see. Psychology tricks. The opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. Elie Wiesel. Ever notice a relationship go quiet without a single fight? The dinners still happen, the small talk still flows, the calendar looks the same, yet the connection feels thinner. Women are remarkably attuned to these microshifts. Long before you say, I'm not feeling it, she's reading the change in your tone, your timing, and your attention. If you're a man in midlife, you've seen this before. Routine replaces curiosity, presence becomes autopilot, and the spark dims without anyone meaning to. When your interest slips, even slightly, she often responds in ways that are subtle, emotional, and surprisingly precise. In this guide, we'll unpack 10 psychological signs she's picked up on your fading interest and why they show up. You'll see how attention, predictability, and emotional safety play different roles for men and women, and how tiny behavioral tells, from delayed replies to altered body language, carry outsized meaning. By the end, you'll understand not just what she's sensing, but what it says about both of you and how to respond with honesty, empathy, and a clear head. 1. She starts creating emotional distance. When a woman starts creating emotional distance, don't fool yourself into thinking she's just busy or in a mood. No, my friend, this is the first quiet signal that she's realized you have lost interest. It never happens all at once. It's a slow fade, like the dimming of a once bright light. The warmth that used to fill the room starts to flicker, then vanish, leaving only a chill you can't quite name. She begins to withdraw not because she wants to, but because she has to. When a man stops sharing, stops listening, or starts acting like her feelings are an inconvenience, a woman feels that shift in her bones. That's female psychology at its finest. Her emotional intuition is sharper than you think. You might say nothing, but your silence screams. You might still show up, but your energy is elsewhere, and she senses it instantly. At first, she'll fight for you. She'll talk more, ask questions, make small gestures to pull you back. She'll laugh at your jokes, even the tired ones. She'll try to bridge the gap with affection or patience. But when her efforts are met with indifference, she stops. That's when she starts protecting herself. Suddenly, she's quieter. She doesn't tell you about her day anymore, doesn't share the random stories she used to, like how her coworker ruined her favorite shirt or how she found a funny video she wanted to show you. Now she just says, "It was fine." Those two words are her emotional armor. Don't mistake it for calm, it's resignation. This isn't peace, it's the sound of her walls going up. And once that wall stands tall, breaking through it is no small task. That's where psychology tricks won't save you unless you truly understand the heart behind them. Because here's the truth, women don't create distance to punish you. They do it to survive the ache of loving someone who's already halfway gone. It's a defense mechanism, of a reflex born from hurt. In female psychology, withdrawal is not cruelty, it's self-preservation. She'd rather retreat than beg. She'd rather fall silent than expose another piece of her heart to rejection. When she starts laughing less, talking less, touching less, don't think she's found peace. She's protecting her peace from you. And if you don't wake up to that truth, you'll soon be asking yourself where the warmth went, why her smile doesn't reach her eyes, why her voice sounds like it's talking to a stranger. That's when you'll realize that indifference cuts deeper than anger. So, don't wait for silence to teach you what attention could have fixed. Be the man who notices before she disappears. Be present, be curious, be real. Because the difference between keeping her love and losing it often comes down to the moment you decide to care again. Don't let her emotional distance be the eulogy of your connection. Learn the psychology tricks that keep love alive, not the ones that manipulate it. Understand how to fall in love again, not just with her, but with the effort it takes to make her feel seen. Because when she realizes you've truly lost interest, it's not anger she feels, it's grief. And once a woman grieves, she rarely returns. 2. She stops arguing. When a woman stops arguing with you, don't fool yourself into thinking you finally won. That's not victory. That's quiet defeat, and not hers, yours. Because when a woman stops fighting, she's not agreeing with you, she's giving up on being understood. In the beginning, her fire was love in disguise. Every argument, every eye roll, every, why would you do that? Those were signs she still cared. She fought to fix things, not to destroy them. Her voice rose because her heart was invested. Conflict, at its core, is connection in disguise, two people wrestling to be seen and heard. But when she senses your disinterest, when her words start bouncing off the emotional wall you've built, something shifts. You can almost hear it, that subtle click of a door closing inside her. She stops challenging you not because she's calm, but because she's tired. That's not peace. That's resignation. And make no mistake, a woman who has detached emotionally is no longer waiting for you to show up. This is what psychologists call learned helplessness. After trying again and again to reach you and getting nothing back, she teaches herself to stop trying. She stops asking for your texting. She stops caring if you come home late. She doesn't ask where this relationship is going anymore because deep down, she already knows. You think the silence is serenity, but it's not. It's surrender. You haven't restored harmony. You've killed her hope. Be warned, indifference, not anger, is what ends love. Anger still has energy. It's raw, alive, emotional. Indifference? That's the absence of energy. It's the emotional flatline. And when she reaches that point, her heart has already started walking out the door long before her body does. So, what does a high-value man do when he sees this happening? He doesn't wait until the silence swallows her whole. He listens deeply, intentionally. He reconnects. He restores his masculine energy not through dominance, but through presence. He looks her in the eyes and reminds her you matter. I'm here. Don't confuse her silence for satisfaction. Don't mistake peace for connection. Be the kind of man who knows how to rebuild emotional safety, not by overpowering her voice, but by earning it back. Because a woman doesn't stop arguing when she's content. She stops arguing when she's done. And by the time you realize that her quiet isn't comfort, but distance, the woman you wanted to attract may already be gone, her heart anchored elsewhere. A high-value man never lets silence take the place of effort. He learns, adapts, and reclaims his masculine energy, not to control her, but to connect with her again. If you found this powerful or eye-opening, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Your support helps us grow and bring more psychological insights to you every week. Comment to remember, I choose mutual effort and emotional connection. 3. She starts spending more time with others. When she starts spending more time with others, don't be fooled. It's not rebellion, it's realignment. This is one of the clearest psychological signs that her heart is moving on. She's not chasing excitement, she's chasing peace. She's not seeking another man, she's seeking herself. When she laughs louder with friends, works later, or posts pictures smiling under the caption "New Beginnings," she's not acting, she's healing. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Her newfound independence is not about you. It's about reclaiming emotional balance after too much neglect. In psychology, this is emotional redirection, the mind's way of rediscovering validation where it still exists. Don't mistake it for drama. Don't call it overreaction. This is a woman redistributing her emotional investment. That's the quiet before the permanent goodbye. Old Stoic wisdom teaches us that attachment without respect destroys both the giver and the receiver. If you let your attention drift, she'll build her world elsewhere. That's not betrayal, that's adaptation. The Stoics called it a more fatty love of fate. When she no longer feels seen, her nature compels her to survive emotionally. Remember this, emotional distance always precedes physical distance. The late nights, the girls' nights out, the laughter you're not part of, these are not coincidences. They're her mind learning to breathe without your presence. If you don't wake up to that truth, you'll wake up alone. As Seneca said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Wasting her emotional presence is wasting your chance to grow with her. Now is when you must develop what I call the iron mind, the ability to confront uncomfortable truths without flinching. The iron mind doesn't whine. It watches. It reflects. It acts. Don't react emotionally, respond strategically. Don't chase validation, command respect through renewed purpose. Let's be clear. When she starts creating a life that doesn't depend on you, that's your mirror. It reflects your neglect, your complacency, your silence. Don't hate it. Learn from it. That's old Stoic wisdom in action, to turn loss into lesson, pain into preparation, weakness into will. Modern life makes it easy to lose focus. Distractions, ego, and pride dull awareness. But a real man, a Stoicism win, is one who remains grounded amid the noise. You must rebuild your emotional presence. Listen when she speaks. Observe what she's not saying. Don't argue, align. Don't accuse, understand. That's how you turn tension into trust. The Stoics didn't fear loss. They mastered detachment to preserve peace. That's the mindset you must adopt. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When she begins to spend more time with others, understand this simple truth, she's finding strength in spaces you abandoned. You can either see it as rejection or as revelation. You choose. Don't beg for her attention, earn it. Don't complain, correct. Don't panic, prepare. Let this be your moment of awakening, not your breaking. Build your iron mind, control your emotions, and rise above reaction. That's how you win, not over her, but over yourself. That's Stoicism win. That's mastery. That's manhood refined through pain and awareness. Remember, every withdrawal of her affection is a test of your strength. Pass it. Become unshakable. Be the man who learns, adapts, and leads with calm certainty. That is the path of power. That is old Stoic wisdom, alive, modern, and victorious. 4. She stops being curious about you. When she stops being curious about you, it's not just silence, it's the sound of emotional distance forming. In every real connection, curiosity is a kind of affection, a quiet whisper that says, you matter. I still want to know you. When she used to ask where you were, what you were thinking, or what made your day good or bad, that wasn't control, it was connection. It was her way of keeping her heart in rhythm with yours. But now, the questions fade. The how was your day texts vanish. You talk, and she listens politely, but the spark that once danced in her eyes is gone. Don't be fooled into thinking it's peace, it's withdrawal. She's not relaxed, she's resigned. In the subtle realm of female psychology, this isn't random. It's emotional conservation. The mind doesn't waste energy where there's no return. Curiosity dies where love stops growing. Psychology tricks may teach you how to read body language, but the real secret is this. When she stops asking, she's already answered. She once wanted to know every little thing about you, what made you laugh, what stressed you out, what you dreamed about when you couldn't sleep. That was her way of saying she was all in. Now, she doesn't ask, not because she's indifferent to life, but because she's indifferent to your version of it. That's the cruel twist of female psychology. When emotional curiosity fades, she's already accepted a world where you exist, but without her in it. Don't ignore that. Be smart. Be aware. This is how to fall in love again, not with someone new, but with understanding what went wrong. You must recognize the signs before the silence becomes permanent. From a psychological view, this is emotional closure disguised as calm. The mind cuts its losses. It stops wondering about what no longer brings joy or change. You might think her quiet is comfort, but it's a quiet that mourns the past. Every unanswered question is a wall. Every never mind is a door closing. You tell her about your day, and she nods without follow-up. You think she's finally giving you space, but she's just building her own. That's the heartbreaking truth behind these psychology tricks. People withdraw not when they're done fighting, but when they've accepted they've already lost. Don't let yourself mistake her indifference for peace. Be alert. Be honest. When curiosity disappears, the relationship begins to decay from the inside out. Love doesn't die with arguments, it dies with silence. The woman who no longer asks is the woman who's already grieving, quietly rewriting her life in a world that no longer includes you. That's not drama, that's human nature. Understanding this is how to fall in love with awareness, with reality. Remember, curiosity is not nosiness. It's the soul's way of saying, I still care. When it's gone, the connection is gone. So, if you see this happening, don't ignore it. Don't comfort yourself with she's just busy or she's being chill. Be bold enough to see the truth. Be wise enough to act. Ask her what's wrong before she stops caring whether you do. Because when a woman stops being curious, she's not saving the relationship, she's saving herself. And by the time you realize it, you'll be a guest in the story you used to star in. That's not punishment, that's female psychology at work. Learn from it. Don't let it happen again. Because in love, curiosity isn't optional, it's survival. And that, my friend, is one of the oldest psychology tricks in the book. If this insight hit home, like the video and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more psychology-based wisdom that keeps your relationships honest and strong. Comment to remember, curiosity is the heartbeat of connection. 5. She starts redefining herself. When a woman senses you've lost interest, something subtle yet seismic begins to shift. She doesn't beg, she doesn't chase, she evolves. Quietly, deliberately. This is not drama, it's transformation. You'll notice the signs if you're paying attention. A new hairstyle, a different style of dress. Maybe she's spending more time at the gym, reading, or planning a solo trip she used to only dream about. Don't mistake these moves for vanity. They're the visible traces of a much deeper change, the rebirth of her identity. You see, women often define parts of themselves through emotional connection. When that connection fades, a void appears and nature hates empty spaces. So she fills it, not with another man, but with her own rediscovered self. That's the moment she starts to rebuild from the inside out. It's emotional individuation, as psychologists call it, the act of pulling her sense of self out of something that no longer feeds her soul. It hurts to witness. The woman who once orbited your world now walks in her own sunlight. She doesn't wait for your approval. She doesn't ask what you think. She's not rebelling, she's realigning. Her energy, once focused on us, now flows toward me. That is a powerful current, and it's moving away from you. Don't fool yourself. When she signs up for that yoga retreat or posts that radiant picture from her solo trip, she isn't trying to make you jealous. She's writing a new chapter, one where her worth isn't measured by your attention. Each morning jog, every quiet night with her journal, every decision made without asking your opinion, it's all part of her emancipation. And here's the punchline life teaches every man sooner or later. When a woman redefines herself, she's not doing it for you. She's doing it because she must. She's stepping into her own power. Now, if you want to understand what's really happening, be honest with yourself. You lost interest, and she felt it. Instead of collapsing, she rose. That's what strong feminine energy does. It transforms pain into growth. And if you're a high-value man, you'll recognize this moment for what it is, not a threat, but a mirror. A reminder to reclaim your masculine energy, to become the kind of man who doesn't lose focus, who keeps growing too. Don't chase her new self out of panic. Match her transformation with your own. Because the truth is, a woman who's redefining herself isn't gone, she's ascending. The question is, will you rise too? Be grounded. Be intentional. Be the man who attracts women not through control, but through confidence. That's what a high-value man does. That's how you attract women, not by clinging, but by leading with purpose, power, and masculine energy that never fades. 6. She stops reacting to your jokes or teasing. When she stops laughing at your jokes, that's not about humor, it's about heart. Once, your teasing made her eyes light up, not because you were a comedian, but because she felt safe, connected, alive in your presence. Now, silence replaces laughter. Her smile turns polite, her energy distant. That is not moodiness. That is emotional withdrawal. Old Stoic wisdom teaches that when something changes in silence, you must observe, not react. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Learn from that. Her silence is a signal, not a punishment. When she no longer reacts to your jokes, it means the rhythm is broken, The emotional bridge cracked. Don't ignore it. Don't rationalize it. Recognize it. Because humor without connection is just noise, and she's no longer dancing to your song. You must develop an iron mind, a stoicism win, where you face truth without denial, observe without panic, act with clarity. In modern life, distractions blur our sensitivity. We scroll, we rush, we assume. But relationships are built in micro moments: eye contact, laughter, warmth. When those vanish, something deep within the emotional current has shifted. That's your cue. You can't fake resonance, you must rebuild it. Don't chase her attention. Instead, regain your grounding. As Seneca said, he who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. Conquer your need for constant validation. Rebuild your center. Women don't disconnect without reason. They disconnect when they no longer feel understood. Don't complain, calibrate. Don't beg, rebuild. Let's face this like men shaped by Old Stoic wisdom. Accept reality, study it, and respond with strength. That is the path of the iron mind. Every great man has faced this moment, the test of emotional composure. She's pulling away? Then pull inward, not outward. Refine your awareness. Be still enough to feel where the energy broke. Humor used to connect you both emotionally. Now it exposes the distance. That's the alarm bell. But you can recover. How? By reconnecting not through words, but through presence. Speak less. Observe more. Let her see you as grounded, not reactive. Let's not forget what Epictetus taught. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That's the Stoicism win. Respond, don't react. Rebuild your emotional leadership. The modern man loses interest easily because he loses focus easily. Reclaim your focus, and she will feel your strength again. Don't try to make her laugh, make her feel safe again. Don't perform, be authentic. Your calm confidence, your steadiness, your discipline will restore respect before affection. Remember, women sense instability faster than words can explain it. When her laughter fades, it's not comedy that failed, it's connection that's been neglected. Revive it through action, not excuses. Be her calm center, not her chaos. That is what Stoicism teaches. That is how the iron mind prevails. In life and love, don't let silence break you, let it forge you. And if you find today's content very interesting, please give me a word of encouragement by commenting "very interesting" in the comments section. That is a huge motivation for us. Thank you. 7. She starts comparing you, silently or out loud. When a woman starts comparing you, silently or out loud, you need to understand this isn't just small talk. It's psychology tricks at work, a glimpse into the deeper patterns of female psychology. Once you were her source of admiration, safety, and warmth, the man who made her feel seen. But when she senses your attention fading, her mind begins to measure the distance between what was and what is. That's when the quiet comparisons start. She might mention how her friend's husband still brings flowers, or how a coworker actually listens. Don't dismiss it as random chatter. That's her subconscious holding up a mirror, trying to understand where the connection slipped away. In female psychology, comparison is not about competition, it's about emotional validation. She's not falling for those other men, she's remembering what being loved once felt like. That's a dangerous place to be. When she sighs instead of speaking, when her eyes wander to a laughing couple, when silence replaces her laughter, that's not indifference. That's a woman recalibrating her emotions, deciding what she'll tolerate. Every sigh carries resignation. Every quiet glance is a page in the story of detachment. By the time she starts saying it out loud, she's no longer protecting your pride. That's the sound of a heart checking out. Don't get defensive. Don't argue. Be smart enough to see the signal behind the words. This is where psychology tricks become survival tools, if you read them right. When she compares, she's not trying to hurt you, she's trying to feel something again. But make no mistake, if she's comparing, she's already halfway gone. She's gathering evidence, not to fix you, but to justify leaving. That's how the female mind copes when it stops hoping. You must act before her silence becomes final. Don't let pride blind you to what her behavior is shouting, that she once felt adored, and now she feels invisible. That's how to fall in love all over again, by noticing her before someone else does. Don't wait for the verbal comparisons, watch the quiet ones. Don't roll your eyes when she mentions another man, hear the message behind it. Be the man who listens, who pays attention, who fights to keep her heart awake. Because once a woman starts comparing you, she's not weighing your worth, she's weighing her exit. And if you miss that, no psychology tricks will save you. This is not about manipulation, it's about awareness. Understanding female psychology means recognizing that comparison is a cry for emotional presence, not proof of disloyalty. Don't let the signs pass. Be attentive. Be bold. Be the reminder of why she chose you in the first place. That's how to fall in love again, and more importantly, how not to lose it. 8. She pulls away from physical intimacy. Physical intimacy isn't just about touch, it's about trust, emotion, and connection. When a woman begins to distance herself physically, it's rarely about not being in the mood. It's about something far deeper, the silent erosion of emotional safety. At the beginning, affection flowed effortlessly. She reached for your hand in public, curled into your chest on the couch, smiled when your arm brushed hers. Those weren't acts of lust, they were small declarations of security. She was saying, I feel seen, I feel safe, I feel loved. But when she starts to feel you've lost interest, the same gestures start to sting. When her laughter meets your blank stare, when her touch meets your stillness, she feels that emotional bridge crumble beneath her. Every attempt to connect without response chips away at her self-worth. Soon, she stops reaching out. Her hugs become quick and hollow. Her kisses obligatory. Her body language distant, polite, guarded. That's not cruelty. That's self-preservation. Psychologists call this emotional withdrawal through physical boundaries. It's a defense mechanism, not a declaration of war. When a woman feels emotionally rejected, she instinctively protects her heart by reclaiming control of her body. That's not punishment, that's her armor. And here's the truth most men miss. This distance doesn't begin in the bedroom. It begins in the everyday moments. When you interrupt instead of listen. When her excitement meets your indifference. When her affection is met with silence. Each small dismissal adds another brick to the wall between you. By the time she pulls away, intimacy isn't the problem, it's the symptom. The real wound lies in emotional disconnection. So don't panic. Don't chase. Don't try to fix her reaction with shallow gestures. Be still. Be honest. Be self-aware. Ask yourself, when did I stop being emotionally available? When did I stop showing up with presence, not just proximity? Because here's the secret every high-value man knows. Physical intimacy naturally follows emotional depth. You cannot truly attract women if you're disconnected from your masculine energy, the calm, grounded strength that makes her feel safe again. That's the energy that listens without defense. That's the energy that touches her with intention, not obligation. If you want her warmth back, rebuild the bridge. Start with empathy. Start with awareness. When your emotional presence returns, her physical closeness will, too. Remember, her distance is not rejection. It's a reflection. She's not pulling away from you. She's protecting herself from the version of you that forgot how to connect. Be the man who remembers. Be the man who reaches not just with his hands, but with his heart. That is what keeps the connection alive. If you've reached this point, you already understand that distance isn't the end. It's a signal. The moment you stop chasing surface fixes and start rebuilding emotional connection, everything changes. Comment below, I choose to rebuild the bridge. 9. She doesn't react when you go silent. When she no longer reacts to your silence, it's not peace, it's the end. Once your absence stirred emotion, now it stirs nothing. That's not calm, that's emotional detachment, the silent acceptance that you no longer hold power in her world. Psychology calls it emotional neutrality, but let's call it what it really is, the death of expectation. When she stops chasing, stops asking, stops caring, she's not indifferent, she's free. Don't mistake that quiet for patience. It's the calm after the storm of disappointment. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's old Stoic wisdom, the same Stoicism when you must apply now. Don't beg for reaction. Don't feed on attention. Learn to stand solid in silence. Because when she no longer reacts, the game has already shifted. You are no longer the center. This is where the iron mind is tested. Can you handle being unseen? Can you rebuild yourself without her validation? Most men crumble here, mistaking her stillness for weakness. Don't. That silence is her strength and your lesson. The man who clings loses. The man who learns wins. Don't test her detachment to measure your worth. That's ego, and ego is the enemy. In modern life, we confuse attention with love, reaction with relevance. But real power, real masculine grounding, comes when you can remain calm, decisive, and dignified even when ignored. As Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." Let that guide you. Don't chase the echo of what's gone. Don't mourn the quiet. Use it. Forge yourself in it. The silence is your forge, your response, your weapon. Let her stillness teach you control. Let it carve the weak out of you. Old Stoic wisdom teaches us that emotion without discipline leads to destruction. Don't let it. Instead, rise with an iron mind, a Stoicism win. Understand, when she stops reacting, she's mastered herself. Now it's your turn. Don't retreat into bitterness or self-pity. That's weakness masquerading as pride. Instead, face it like a warrior who understands that every loss can become armor. The modern man must learn this truth. No one owes you reaction. No one owes you interest. You must create presence through strength, not demand it through noise. So don't ask why she's silent. Ask why you needed her sound to feel seen. Let that question cut you open, because real growth is never comfortable. Don't text. Don't plead. Don't explain. Stand tall. Let silence be your teacher, not your punishment. The Stoic path isn't about feeling less, it's about mastering what you feel. When you do, you win, not just her respect, but your own. Remember, every calm woman once cared deeply. Every detached heart once tried endlessly. Her silence isn't cruelty, it's closure. And your task now is to meet it like a man who understands that nothing external defines his worth. Old Stoic wisdom, Stoicism win, iron mind. Repeat these until they live in you. Don't just survive the silence. Master it. That is victory. That is manhood. That is power. 10. She becomes strangely independent. At first glance, her newfound independence feels like confidence, maybe even progress. She's planning her own weekends, fixing her own problems, and no longer asking you what you think. You tell yourself she's just growing, but don't be fooled. Sometimes independence isn't empowerment, it's escape. In female psychology, that quiet shift from leaning in to pulling away is rarely random. It's a defense mechanism, one of those subtle psychology tricks life teaches after disappointment. She used to turn to you for reassurance, to feel safe, seen, and valued. Now, she doesn't need your advice, your approval, or your help to get through the day. Be careful. What looks like strength can be the emotional scar tissue of someone who's been let down too many times. That is the truth most men overlook until it's too late. She's not punishing you. She's protecting herself. Her independence isn't rebellion. It's a survival strategy, built after realizing that depending on you led to emptiness. And once a woman learns to fill her own emotional cup, she doesn't come back to drink from the same one that once left her thirsty. You'll start noticing the small but piercing changes. She doesn't text to ask your opinion before she buys something big. She takes trips without mentioning them, and when she talks about her dreams, the pronouns change. I will, I want, I've decided. Don't dismiss it as attitude. Those are declarations of freedom. That is the sound of a woman reclaiming her identity. This is where most men panic. They sense her slipping away, but can't name the reason. The truth is, she's already emotionally detached. She's built a version of herself that doesn't require your validation. Once she realizes she can live, even thrive, without your emotional input, her dependence dissolves like smoke in sunlight. You must understand this moment for what it is. the point of no return unless you act differently. Don't try to win her back with flowers, apologies, or grand speeches. Be genuine. Be consistent. Be the man who listens without dismissing, who shows up without excuses. Because once she reaches this level of emotional independence, no amount of sweet talk will work, only trust will. These are the subtle psychology tricks of the heart. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. Learn them, and you might learn how to fall in love again, the right way this time. Don't underestimate the power of a woman who has taught herself to stand tall. That is the woman who knows her worth. And once she's learned she can stand alone, she'll never again settle for someone who made her feel invisible when she was right there beside him. So if you're watching her become strangely independent, don't just ask, "What happened to us?" Ask, "What did I stop giving that made her build a world without me?" Because in the end, independence isn't the enemy, indifference is. And when female psychology teaches her that she can live without your love, you'd better learn fast how to fall in love all over again before she forgets how it ever felt to love you. And hey, if you recognized even a few of these signs, don't wait for the distance to become permanent. Emotional disconnection doesn't explode, it fades, one unspoken moment at a time. A strong man isn't the one who hides his feelings, he's the one who faces them with courage. So if you're feeling that shift, don't ignore it. Talk, act, be honest with her and with yourself. If this spoke to you, share your thoughts, your story, or your lessons below. Because sometimes the words you share today might be exactly what another man needs to hear before it's too late. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourself, stay self-aware, and keep growing. I'll see you in the next one.